Shalom. First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Yours in the gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. Fair use, fair use. Miss Ass Looters, empty 39 Chicago stores. Mayor cheers as Sanctuary City implodes. And you notice Trump has been talking about the next city on the federal list of being dispatched with troops is Chicago. And it makes every sense in the world as to why DJ Trump wants to bring the troops there. Now, I speculate it's a bigger reason outside of crime because, honestly speaking, they don't give a shit about crime, man. All right, these cities have been infested with crime waves since their inception, especially when you've given Jake the opportunity to behave like a bunch of animals and losers. This is just what they're going to do. But I speculate that the troops will be dispatched to these cities using crime as a justification because economic collapse, possible pestilence outbreaks, with new viruses and bank collapse and, getting ready to reset the system through the likings of Palantir, because remember they just dropped $500 billion in Stargate, which they've already built the ground, that they already started the groundwork on these major data centers throughout the jettas of America. So with that being said, they're going to have some type of federal police in order to enforce this order because the average people are not going to lay down and accept digital slavery completely, especially when their money and food is on the line. All right, so they're using crime as a justification on bullhorn this thing. But nonetheless, you Jakes, man, this is the reason why they're justifying it, because look at the shit you do. Okay, now this is from Cash Jordan. Fair use, fair use. I make no money from this. Fair use, fair use. But I'm gonna play a couple of minutes of this video and show you why you niggas, this is the reason why you getting ready to be occupied, man. Well, the justification, but regardless of it, shit, I'm not even against them sending the military on you Jakes, man. All right, because, look at the shit you do. Snatching grabs, looting, robbing people, beating people up, killing one another, twerking on top of cars, beating up cops. In Chicago, man, they shoot at cops. Just so you know. Because a lot of them cops got direct allegiance to these gang tasks. A lot of these cops got direct access to these gang members because a lot of them are taking bribes from the gangs too, So anyway, play a couple of minutes of this to show you how ridden this city is with crime, man. It's just like, goddamn, enough is enough, man.
About how bad Chicago is, and what have we got here? This person getting arrested. Oh! These police are totally overwhelmed. Look at all the criminals. Oh my goodness, what's going on here? They're dancing after that officer was just accosted. But apparently looting here is out of control too. This happened at Nordstrom's.
I don't know. Oh, they robbed Nordstrom. Here they go.
Where are they? Oh, look at them getting in the car.
I've always wanted to see this in real life.
He just threw a bunch of stuff in there.
Where do you think we're going to go, Adam?
I don't know. It's super exciting.
Whoa!
That's a stolen car for sure. Here's another guy that thinks
2 cars!
A bold crew is caught on camera running out of the Nordstrom in River North with designer goods.
By the time Chicago police responded, the thieves were long gone, but the impact...
This is what they do. They're running in a spot on a Magnificent Mile, downtown Chicago on Michigan Avenue, because you got more of the high-end prestige stores going down on the north end of Michigan Avenue. State Street, that's pretty much done. Okay, you had you had Macy's, which used to be formerly Marshall Fields. You had Target. You had like pretty much mid-level grade stores on State Avenue. But a lot of those are closed up now because, for one thing, Chicago downtown, they have like 35% retail space that's available because nobody is able to afford the office space because rents are gone. So they're pricing everybody out. But in retrospect, these criminals are coming all the way from the south side of Chicago to west side, and they're going downtown Chicago, and they're running in places like the Water Tower, certain clothing stores, and they're stealing shit. You know, you got like the Michael Jordan store down there. You got particular Nike stores, and you know those things haven't been hit yet, I don't think. But nonetheless, man, you know this is the crime area since the pandemic. Niggas just been running up in spots, doing whatever the hell they want to do, man. And this is why Esau has given the cops, soon to be the military, full immunity to put you niggas in the spirit world. Because when you look at Jake and the things that they're doing, even though Esau, he's the contributing factor to why our people were so bugged out. When you look at what the hell Jake is doing, I mean, it's just like, all right, well, there's only one thing that can be done. All right?
Their actions long lasting.
Yeah, I believe it.
Professional thieves.
Investigators say the
Niggas stole $100,000 in designer purses, bro. And what they gonna do, they gonna take them, they gonna put them on Facebook Market, sell them joints for 30, 40 bucks. And if you stupid enough to meet up with them to go buy, they may just rob you. That's why when you're doing business on Marketplace, always check the person's profile. Like, it's a couple of times that I didn't, went to get some items on Marketplace, and then the profile looked kind of suspicious. And, you don't want to cast a stone where you don't need to throw, because, I mean, some jakes that's on there legitimately trying to make money. But a lot of that shit that they be selling in bulk, when these niggas be getting like these polo outfits and all that other stuff and these electronics, a lot of that shit be stolen too, man. And one dude just rubbed me the wrong way. I was just peeping his profile. Nigga had a shiesty on. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. I ain't finna meet up with this nigga, man. I ain't got time to be on the 9 o'clock news for putting somebody's fucking organ or orphan or bastard in the spirit world. Because I got a motto. I'm gonna get your ass before you get me. All right, because it's just the world we live in. And you gotta have that mentality when you're out here doing what you have to do. Not saying being a bully or anything like that, but we're coming into the time now that you won't have to judge first, ask questions later, in the time we coming into. All right? Not telling you brothers to go out there and crash out. No, that's not what I'm saying. But shit, we in war. All right? Same thing in the spiritual war. You gotta have a proper mindset in order to make proper calls out here, man. Use wisdom. Brothers got to start using wisdom and standing on that wisdom and applying what you know.
Retail theft is big money too. We're talking a $1
The
billion
police
industry.
10 steps behind.
Last month, CBS News Chicago showed you how the Cook County State's Attorney was the helm of the nationwide crackdown, which netted 500 arrests, all from people stealing from stores and selling the goods at much cheaper cost.
These thieves are taking Chicago for everything they've got.
Look how they taking money at Dunkin' Donuts, y'all. Like,
Dunkin'
come on, man,
Donuts!
what is this?
Looks like a bank.
If you haven't gotten your flu shot, join our study to receive a potential new one at no cost from a doctor.
And the crazy part about it is that a lot of these like stereotypes, Jake, you project a lot of these stereotypes, man. All right. Now, if you peep the comments, it says here, usual suspects again and again and again and again and again and again and again. It says calling them animals is an assault to animals. So the world hates you niggas, man. All right. And that's I mean, in many ways, it's just like you can't really blame the people. But at the same time, they put that badge of shame on our entire nation because Esau, he publicizes Jake being the top criminals when in fact, Esau commit crimes 10 times more than Jake's, man. They just shed the light on Jake. He said, as a black man who was born and raised in the hood, I am disgusted with the level of disrespect and ignorance that come with today's culture. Yep. Like I said, you see a Jake out there in 95 degrees with a hoodie and a shiesty on. Hey, he ain't on professional people time. I'll put it to you that way. All right, he's on demon time, and you see guys like that, you got to stay away from them because they mean no well. All right, this is the book of Proverbs 1, and I'm gonna start at verses 10, and it reads. It says, "My son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not." You know how you got your homies and say, man, you know what, let's go rob a bank or let's go stick up a Peace jewelry store or some wickedness like that. You got to tell that ninja like, nah, bruh, I can't be on that. Like, I got a whole life ahead of me. I got, things I got to fulfill in life. I ain't got time to be sitting up nobody's penitentiary for 15, 20 years, all because, you wanted to make a quick buck. But Jake on that type of time, you know, niggas, they act first and think later, and then when they get sentenced, then that's when they want to start crying and falling out. All right, a lot of Jakes are sitting in prison for things they could have avoided. And it reads, it says here, if they say, come with us and let us wait for blood, let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. That's that crash out spirit, man. You know, nigga hanging behind, he's in an alley behind a dumpster with a mask on, with a gun in his hand. He's waiting to rob you. You know what I'm saying? Or they come out the cut, 6, 7 of them little YNs. They come and they ambush you and take your shit. That's the world we live in right now, man. Like it was a video that came out the other day of some stupid ninja trying to rob a jewelry store in broad daylight, and he got put down. Right? You know, and this is the reason why you shouldn't allow kids to play GTA, because they play GTA and then they go on heist mode for real. You know, like, nah, bro, this ain't online gaming. This is real out here. You get put down. And people at the point now that they just shooting at you, Jakes, man. All right? Because they know that the cops ain't gonna do nothing. But it reads, it says here, if they say, come with us and let us wait for innocent blood, wait for blood and let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave and whole as those that go down into the pit. And we should find all precious substance. We should fill our houses with spoil. And that's them doing these heists. You know, running in spots, running in Foot Locker. Hell, I remember during the time of the George Floyd riots, man, down here in Kansas City on Prospect, which that was all a psyop anyway. But basically, they set the bricks outside of these stores, and you had a City Gear and you had a Hibbett, which is pretty much the same. It's the same company, you know. They deal with shoes and retail. And them niggas went in there and they busted open the Hibbett, man. They busted open. That's where every time you go down there to Prospect, that Hibbett store got boards on them. And when you look up the ratings, when you go to Google and you looking at retail stores, it'd be like a Hibbett or a City Gear, something like that. If you pay attention to it, there's always a poor rating on it because, for one thing, that's a predominantly Jake establishment. It's ran and managed by Jake, which has horrible customer service. They have horrible customer service skills. And on top of that, the Jakes that they allow to shop there. This is why in those stores, they got armed security, man. Okay, because they know you mess around with Jake, you'll lose business, man. You know? And don't go there for night, Lord forbid. But it says here, let us swallow them up alive as the grave. I want to read this in the New Living Testament too. And whole as those that go down into the pit. It says, we should find all precious substance. We should fill our house with spoils. Casting thy lot among us. Let us all have one purse. Okay? Because they rob an Apple and they steal 100 cell phones, 100,000 in bags, and they go sell it. And bam, that's just what it is. And they don't make no money off the shit, because a lot of the shit that they're using is stealing cars. They're stealing foreign cars, and they're get away and drive on the wrong side of the road and plumb around a tree. Hell, I remember it was one situation that it was a 17-year-old YN. He was in a steamer, which is a stolen car, and he wrapped the car around a tree, and he burnt alive in the damn car, which is a fitting judgment for him. They said it was so bad to the point the cop had to go around the corner to to puke his guts out. That's how bad it was. So you see that the end thing is death, being a YN. But it reads, cast thy lot among us, and let us all have one purse. But my son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from thy path, for their feet run to evil and make haste to shed blood. And this is what they do, and they'll kill anybody that get in their way. All right. So you got to be careful out here, man. And this is why he wants to send them troops. Well, one of the main justifications why he's going to send the troops there. But let's see what it says in the New Living Testament. It reads, it says, my son, if sinners entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, come and join us. Let us hide and kill someone. That's niggas, man. Just for fun. Let's ambush the innocent. Salakia, man. But that's Jake, man. They play GTA, they get all mollied up off the pills and the Percocets, and then shit come 9, 10 o'clock, hit 8, sleep to fucking 5 o'clock in the evening, play GTA all night, wake up, drink liquor, then they pop pills, and then they go out 9, 10 o'clock and they start robbing people until somebody takes them out. And it reads, it says, this is great. It says here, Let's swallow them alive like the grave. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. And think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all the stuff we take. So come, throw in your lot with us, and we shall all share the loot. But
These people,
It's a bank for donuts, for Boston cream donuts.
getting up every day and seeing something like this, bro, that do something to your mental up here. It tell you, like, this how you feed animals in a zoo, gang.
That's terrible,
That's
man.
pretty much what it's telling your mentality. Like, I don't trust you. You feel what I'm saying? At what point do we be like, we tired of getting treated like animals, tired of getting treated like this? Like, bro, like,
Lock up your criminals.
you telling me I can't even hand you my money, gang? Like, bro, like, you grow up, imagine you see this every day for your whole life, and then you go to someplace else and you see them handing the money, you gonna think something wrong with you, gang. Like, it's crazy mentality.
Well, that's what happens when you don't put criminals in jail. You got to put the donuts in jail instead.
He pretty quickly picked me up and
This is a restaurant robbery.
It was an attack that literally turned her life upside down last week, Wednesday.
Was a pretty normal shift up until this point. Around 8:15, this man walked in with a face mask and was on the phone and said that he was waiting for his girlfriend.
Yeah.
When I came back inside, I saw him sitting there with my bag on his lap, and he was going through it. He was going through my wallet. I saw him taking cash out of it.
This is the worst kind of crime here. Pickpockets, all this nonsense. Chicago is falling apart right before our eyes.
Security video inside the Dandy Crown on Milwaukee Avenue shows that violent confrontation involving a masked man who then tried to run away, as she says
He's
he
wearing a
claimed to be
tracksuit.
armed with a knife.
When he got to the front door, he
That's
Just
awful.
2 nights prior, another employee faced a masked man seen in this security video.
Same
Police say
strategy.
the suspect pulled out a sharp object before demanding money from a cash register. However,
Look
he
at him
was
all
only
messed
able
up.
to get away with a woman's bag and 2 phones. The bar's owner, Julia Schell, told ABC7 last week that her business was robbed at least 5 times over the last 2
times.
years. The bar has been shuttered since Sarah's attack.
Look, they have a sign that says no cash on premises, and people are still getting robbed at this place. The purses are getting stolen. The phones are getting stolen. You got criminals just walking off the street, walking in there, and potentially stealing access to someone's bank account and their identity. But apparently, tanks are now spawning in the street in Chicago.
All of them have verified profiles, validated degrees, and certifications. Even with your busy college schedule, you can learn math, science, computer programming, and more fun things like art and design. If you're on the
Trying to go home, a tank just appears, bro.
It's an APC.
What are you doing this?
That's crazy. Look at a woman in a dress.
This, you the main character, bro? What the is wrong with that? Didn't happen.
Look what's in the background. A Trump building right there in the middle of Chicago. But look what happened at Foot Locker just now.
Glass at the Foot Locker store at Chicago Kedzie Plaza. At 3
Foot
a.m.,
Locker.
thieves backed a car into the front of the store and grabbed shoes and
Wow.
clothes.
It's frustrating.
Look at all boarded up.
This comes as a
Look at the front
burglary at the
door.
Foot Locker in West Englewood Tuesday at 4:15 a.m.
Oh, they hit 2 stores.
Surveillance video of that incident shows the method the young thieves
Oh, my
used
goodness.
to smash through the store windows and grab what they can.
So they crash into the store with this car, and then they loot the store and fill up the silver car and drive away.
And grab what they can. Shanti Althaf is the property manager for both properties. She says repairing the damage for retailers is far more expensive than replacing the stolen merchandise.
It is organized crime. That's what we're facing. It is not petty theft. It is
This place is being plundered.
Individuals, they get together, create a plan, execute that plan.
And there's no police.
Althaf shares that all consumers pay the price
That's right.
for retail loss.
She's right.
We're all paying for this. We're all paying. Each retailer that has you think you're getting 20% off? Well, that 20% off is already covering their lost inventory.
She fears what could happen if the offenders are not stopped.
If there's enough crime, big retailers, national retailers, they pull out of the shopping centers. They discontinue their lease. They leave vacancies, and as a result, you end up with communities that don't have the services or the goods.
Chicago police.
But those communities do have the criminals because they refuse to put them in jail.
Our children can't walk around the community without fear of being
Terrible.
hurt or kidnapped or having a drive-by. So it's what these numbers that they're expressing, we don't feel it in our quality of life.
Trump, you need to bring the National Guards to Chicago, man. You got kids
Man, that's not good, man. Washington, D.C. is not much going on compared to Chicago, man. I'm running. It's a war happening right now in Chicago, man. Hey, look, man. Look, go on the news, or go on Google, type Chicago. I'm going back home to Africa, man. I can't.
Well, that's a crazy statement. But even though Chicago is full of normal people who are telling us how much they do not want to see crime ruining their city, this place is run by activists who don't want to see law and order come here at all.
Down on crime in Washington, D.C. are now armed following a new Pentagon order, as the president floats the possibility of extending federal deployments to other U.S. cities, including Chicago.
We may or may not. We may just go in and do it, which is probably what we should do. They need help badly. Chicago desperately needs help.
But late today, this from Chicago's Democratic mayor, who notes the city's murder rate is down 32% from last year.
Yes, safe.
This stunt that this president is attempting to execute is not real.
This guy's melting down.
It doesn't help drive us towards a more safe, affordable big city.
And Illinois Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker posting this video along Lake Michigan.
A lot of people running, having a great time.
Insisting the city does not need assistance from federal.
Wait a second. You mean to tell me the governor of a sanctuary state went out one day for a jog all by himself and saw this? You mean to tell me he didn't have a security detail with him? You mean to tell me they didn't clean this area up before he went in? Really? Interesting. I'm not sure how much of this I believe.
Running, having a great time.
Insisting the city does not need assistance from federal law enforcement.
Yeah, they all insist.
Mr. President, do not come to Chicago. You are neither wanted here nor needed here.
That's the
But
big
so far
part
this
of this.
year, the city is still averaging over 1 a day.
Ooh.
Just this weekend, there were 3 homicides and 27 people were shot.
We still have a problem. We have a problem with illegal guns. We have a high murder rate. We need help with that. If Trump really wants to help, what he can do is give us a federal Homeland Security grant so we can
Give us money. Give us money. That's what they want. They want money. The same people that created the crime problem in Chicago say, you know what? Don't send troops. Don't send law enforcement. Don't build a jail and fill it up. But if you have some money for us, we'll take it. If you really want to help, just pay us. What do you think's going to happen to that money?
Or police officers.
While the president pushing back on Democratic accusations that he's behaving like a dictator.
A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator. I'm a man with great common sense and I'm a smart person. And when I see what's happening to our cities, and then you send in troops, instead of being praised, they're saying you're trying to take over the republic.
Either way, home renovations can be daunting, which is why at West Shore Home, we want to make this as easy as possible. Here's how it works. First, just give us a call.
Hi, West Shore? Yeah, we're having some issues.
No worries. Let's get you scheduled for a consultation.
Need an appointment tomorrow?
All right, Garrett joins us live from the White House. Garrett, the president also making headlines on crime with some new executive orders, including on cashless bail.
That's right. Okay, so the thing here is, whether you have a dictator or not, you need law and order. If you don't have law and order, your dictator is the criminal underworld that runs your city and forces out businesses and shuts them down. A criminal underworld that exists because of this whole cashless bail thing that doesn't allow criminals to go to jail.
The president targeting several Democratic-run cities and states, including Washington, D.C. and Chicago, which use a cashless bail system in their courts. The president believes those hurt public safety. The order signed today could be used to cut off some funding for places that keep using those systems after 30 days. And in a separate order signed today, he also created a new specialized National Guard unit that could be deployed in cities for police work going forward.
A cleanup battalion. Here's an article in the New York Post on how cashless bail is working out. Cashless bail or zero bail results in increased recidivism and crime, the district attorney said, noting that his office's research found there was a staggering 169% jump in later crimes committed by those released on cashless bail as opposed to those forced to pony up to get out of jail. Yolo County. This is happening somewhere in California. That's crazy. The study looked at a random sample of 100 people released from custody on zero bail between 2018 and 2019. So this is pre-pandemic when things were safer in all of these places. This is picture right here. This is the solution to crime. You have to build a jail, and you have to put criminals who are guilty of doing something wrong inside of it, and you can't let them out until they learn their lesson. That's how it has to work. What do you think about that? Do you think Trump should send troops to Chicago, or is the governor and are the mayor right? Are these guys right in saying that, hey, you're not wanted here? Don't come, because if Trump isn't wanted there with troops and with law and order, if all of the local people hate that, what are those troops actually going to accomplish? Are they going to go in and clean up the crime and then leave and it all comes right back?
Salakia, man. Salakia. Call from work. But anyway, so going back here, basically it's a lot of wickedness going on with Jake, but this is the book of Sirach 8, and I'm going to start at verses 8, and I'm going to start at verses 15. It says, travel not by the way with a bold fellow, lest he become grievous unto thee, for he would do according to his own will, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. So you know how many Jakes then got caught up in doing wickedness, and then, you know, they end up getting unalived or getting locked up, and then they go down as a collective, and this is the result of being in the wicked world. Okay, Jake not having fathers, Jake not having probable mothers and healthcare providers. Jake is all over the place. And this is why the scriptures say that Judah should be a terror unto Egypt. And it reads, it says, it says, and thou shalt perish with him through his folly. So you just got to avoid these ninjas at the end of the day. You know, case in point, I'll get one more precept and I ended Salakia for the little hiatus, man. Like I said, I got a work call that came through. And I'm not going to be able to do that. So, but anyway, Isaiah 19, and I'm going to start at verses 17. It says, and the land of Judah should be a terror to Egypt, and everyone that maketh mention thereof should be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of the Lord of hosts, which he had determined against it. Judah is you damn Negroes, man. All right. So anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, Lord, is where you are edified. Until the next lesson. Shalom.